Hey y'all, tonight I'm making my Redbud jelly. This is my tea that I've made from the Redbud flowers. What you do is, I think I ended up with 6 cups of flowers, so I took about 6 and a quarter cups of boiling water, poured it over my flowers, let it cool down to room temperature, and then I put it in the fridge. You want to put it in the fridge between like 12 to 24 hours. And the longer you leave it, the more Redbud flavor that will get in there. So, but don't leave it too long. About 24 hours. You could get away with 48, but about that time range is as long as you probably want to leave it. So here we are, and what I'm doing is I've just got a mesh strainer with a coffee filter just to get any extra little particles. You probably don't have to use the coffee filter if you're just making it for yourself. But since I share it with other people, I'm gonna make sure it's extra strained. So really, my goal for this recipe is just 2 cups. I got about 2 and a quarter. I'm gonna pour just a touch back. There's several recipes that you can do 4 cups, even up to 6, but you don't want to double jelly batches because it makes your pectin not set up for you. So don't ever think that you can just take a jelly batch and double it, or a jelly recipe and double it, because more likely than not, your jelly will never set up because the pectin won't do its thing. So always, if you're following a jelly recipe, just keep it to the right measurements. It's not usually something you can just alter, and definitely not double. So this one calls for 2 cups, and we've got our Redbud tea that sat in the fridge overnight. And what I'm gonna do is dump it in this pot over here. All right, y'all, now we've got it transferred over to the pot. I've got the heat set on high. I'm gonna bring this to a boil for 1 minute while I add the lemon juice, which makes it turn like a brighter pink color. I get so excited. Blue violet is a really fun one to pour the lemon juice into. Hopefully I get to do a video on that. Okay, so since I squirted that over the top, we've got about a 2nd tablespoon. Dump it in there. You need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to 2 cups of Redbud tea. Okay, we're gonna bring this to a boil. This is a small recipe. I'm going to be doing so many more this year. I need to do a couple probably that are 4 to 6 cups at a time, but honestly I found that the 2 cup recipes always set up the best for me, and I don't know why. I really like the way the pectin works with the ones that are only 2 cups. Okie dokie, y'all. Once y'all bring that to a boil, you'll make sure your 2 tablespoons of lemon juice is added, 3 tablespoons of pectin, and we're gonna stir this in and let it boil for 1 minute. Jelly making season is my favorite. I'm so excited that it's here. Redbuds are the first one. They're the first wild edible for me that I get out there and I'm like, it's time. Months and months of harvesting and making stuff now. Oh yeah, 1 minute. Okay. I have to see where we're at. Got it. fun facts for the redbud tree. The eastern redbud tree. It's native to the East Coast, North America, and it's super high in vitamin C, and all parts of the tree are edible. And another fun fact is the bark and the roots have been used historically to help with vomiting and diarrhea. So now we add 2 cups of sugar all at one time. Just like that. And then we've got to stir. It's such a pretty pink color, y'all. So much fun. So much fun. There's just so many wild things out there that you can have so much fun with. Constantly stirring. We have to be constantly stirring on this one. Just gotta keep on stirring until it reaches a boil. And once it reaches a boil, we're gonna stir for 1 minute without stopping until it gets to a boil that I can't knock down with stirring. Also, this whole entire time, I should have mentioned I've got my water bath canner right here, and I've got my jars inside. So you gotta wash your jars, make sure they're all nice and sterilized, and then you put them in boiling water for at least 10 minutes, but just go ahead and do it the whole time. It won't hurt nothing. That way they're good and sterilized before we ladle, whichever one is the wrong way to say it is the way I say it, and the right way, whether it's ladle or ladle, I can't remember now, is the right way. But I mean when I'm talking about this thing. Someone told me in one of my classes that I said the opposite of whatever the right way is, and I realized that's just the way I say it. I think it's ladle. Ladle? I don't know. But you want to make sure your jars are sterilized. Okay, we're at a rolling boil now. So, 1 minute. I wasn't starting when I said that. There was a few seconds before that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. All right, we've been constantly stirring for a whole minute now at a rolling boil. I'm gonna move it to the other burner. You know, I could have already taken another thing I want to show y'all real quick. Hold on. You see how that kind of gels? It kind of sticks to the, okay, y'all see how that kind of gels up and sticks to the spoon? You can do your drip test to make sure that your pectin is actually setting up. So you just like dip your spoon in there, turn it to the side, and kind of notice how it'll then start gelling up when it drips. That'll let you know if you're on the right track or not. So I should have kind of already been doing this process. So now I'm going to have to make sure every single one of the jars are not cracked, because that's really dangerous. If you have any little chip, it will not seal. I wish I wouldn't have done that. So, take it out, set it over here. Man, I get tired of my crap sometimes, guys. So luckily none of the jars are cracked. Some miracle thing happened. I've got to add more water because I left it boiling for so long. Alright y'all, so now we've got our jelly to ladle off. You know, a little tip that I forgot is you can add just like a 1/4 teaspoon of butter and it'll kind of help with some of this foam. Like there's just, it's hardly noticeable in this batch, but there's just a little bit of foam and a little pinch of butter will help not make that happen. So all I'm gonna do is just take like a spoon and kind of rake off the foam and just throw it in the trash. It helps if you have your lids warmed up. You don't want to boil them though. Never boil them. I'm actually going to turn the heat off because if you boil them, it can mess up that rubber seal, which creates your nice and safe seal for when you're canning your jelly. So I'm going to skim this off. The lids are heated up. The jars are nice and sterilized over here. And then we're going to start ladling or ladling. I can't remember which one. What's funny is I've asked people within the past few weeks which one was the right one, and I thought I had it down, but I don't remember. Y'all will have to remind me in the comments which word I'm supposed to be using. So, see that like foamy little scum on the top? Just gotta throw that away. Just toss it out. All right, I'm going with ladle, which makes me think that it's ladle. Anyway, here I go with my ladle. So we're just gonna take it and we're gonna put it in our jars. You're gonna wanna leave a 1/4 inch of headspace at the top of your jar. I can already tell that this is setting up so awesome. headspace at the tops of your jars. Okay, so that recipe made 6 4-ounce mason jars full. So that's how many you'll need to wash and sterilize and heat the lids to. Okay, now, so important part here, whenever you can, anything sticky, most anything, but anything with a little bit of sugar, especially jelly, you want to take white vinegar, put it on a paper towel, or really any towel, and as long as it's not leaving fuzz or debris behind. And you're going to want to wipe your rims down, because if you have any kind of sticky substance, it can mess up that seal in between your lid and your jar, and it's not food safe anymore, so it's not shelf stable, I should say. You don't want anything messing up that seal. So just be sure to wipe it down with white vinegar. If you don't have white vinegar, it's a good thing to keep in your kitchen, but just use hot water and run your finger over it to make sure there's nothing sticky left. White vinegar just cuts into all of that and cleans it really well. Alright, so now that we've got our lids cleaned, we're going to take our little magnet grabber. You don't have to have this, but it sure is handy. And we're going to grab up our lids like that. And then we'll just come right over here and stick it on our jelly. Just sticking the lids on. Alright y'all, all of my Redbud jars are in the canner now. I'm in Arkansas. It takes 10 minutes for it to water bath can and process correctly, so I'm going to let that be at a rolling boil for 10 minutes, then I'm going to take them all out, let it cool down for 24 hours, and then I've got my Redbud jelly. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and y'all go enjoy the spring. Y'all have a blessed day. It's so good. And it gelled. It gelled up. I love it when my jelly sets.